Welcome to this journey through the most impressive natural disasters of recent years. In a few moments, nature can overturn our certainties, showing us its power and our fragility. From floods to earthquakes, from tornadoes to erupting volcanoes, we will relive together 15 moments that have shocked those who lived them. Prepare yourselves. The story that follows will not leave you indifferent. Luno, the Holy Wood Fire. In the summer of 2025, a massive forest fire broke out in the Hollywood Hills, bordering the most populated areas of Los Angeles. The flames, fueled by high temperatures and strong winds, spread rapidly, threatening homes, movie studios, and historic sites. Firefighters worked tirelessly, aided by helicopters and firefighting planes, managing to contain the fire front after hours of fighting. Some areas were evacuated as a precaution, and the blanket of smoke enveloped the city, painting the sky an eerie red. Fortunately, emergency measures limited the damage to structures and allowed residents to find shelter in time. However, this episode has reignited the debate on the management of green spaces and the need to prevent fires in a region increasingly affected by extreme weather events. Du Flooding in QLU, in delay, GULYDC, 2023. On July DC 2023, a devastating flood occurred in the city of Kulu, India, due to torrential rains that caused the river levels to rise well above the safety threshold. In a matter of hours, the water overwhelmed entire neighborhoods and infrastructures, reducing many homes to rubble. Entire families were forced to flee, abandoning everything. Rescue teams, arriving with enormous difficulty, brought aid and food, but the power of the water was such that any immediate intervention was impossible. The collapsing glacier in Iceland, Márcis 31, 2019. On March 31, 2019, guide Stefan Mantler captured an extraordinary moment. A section of a glacier in Iceland broke off, creating huge waves. The force of the calving generated waves similar to mini tsunamis, capable of capsizing light boats. Fortunately, Mantler had already warned tourists of the potential risk, allowing them to safely leave before the collapse. This episode reminds us how delicate glaciers are and how dangerous they can become, especially in an era of climate change. Phuket, Thailand storm, 2023. Phuket, usually known for its turquoise waters and dreamy beaches, was hit by a violent tropical storm in 2023 that turned a simple speedboat ride into a nightmare. Towering waves and pouring rain put a strain on tourist boats, surprising many travelers who were used to sunny days. Crews had to deal with near-zero visibility and strong winds, struggling desperately to get passengers to safety. Hailstorm in Turkey. In Turkey, an exceptional hailstorm left everyone speechless. Ice grains the size of tennis balls fell continuously, causing extensive damage. Windshields shattered, car bodies dented, streets flooded with blocks of ice that looked like stones. Fortunately, there were no victims, but the event made us reflect on the danger of certain atmospheric phenomena that, although rare, can occur at any time. The MUD flow in Japan. In some mountainous regions of Japan, torrential rains caused a powerful mudflow. Buildings, bridges, and roads were literally swallowed up. In a matter of minutes, villages that were previously considered safe became unrecognizable. Those who witnessed the scene described a thunderous roar and a huge brown wave that dragged everything in its path. The only hope for those nearby was to flee as quickly as possible. The earthquake in Japan, February 13, 2011. On February 13, 2021, a magnitude 6 earthquake struck Japan once again, frightening the population and causing significant structural damage. Although the country is accustomed to seismic events, the earthquake demonstrated how, in a matter of seconds, the earth can literally shake beneath our feet. Japan has advanced warning systems, but the psychological effect of an earthquake is still impressive, both for people and pets. Otto. L.A.N.D.'s is L.I.D. in India. 30 Giugno 2024. In the Kisha region of India, on June 30, 2024, persistent rains saturated the ground, causing a landslide that swept away entire sections of road. The initial roar alerted residents, but in many cases the collapse was so rapid that there was no time to escape. Local authorities intervened immediately with heavy machinery, but the force of nature took days to restore connections and allow rescuers to bring food and medicine to isolated villages. Nove. The tornado near Doji City, Kansas. The United States, particularly Tornado Alley, is often the scene of extreme weather events. A tornado near Dodge City, Kansas, showed its full fury, a huge dark vortex that engulfed fields, roads, and homes. Those unfortunate enough to find themselves in its path describe an unstoppable wall of wind and debris, with winds that seemed to scream like a jet taking off. DC. Typhoon in China that devastated is naval disaster. A typhoon in the China Sea pushed the winds to incredible speeds, unleashing waves so high that many vessels in transit feared the worst. One of these, almost capsized by the fury of the ocean, tilted until its keel was partially out of the water. The crew members, in panic, kept their cool, managing to right the ship and avoid sinking. Undisi. The Ruvwave in South Africa, 2023. Also in 2023, the coasts of South Africa were the scene of a truly impressive event. A freak wave of unexpected size overwhelmed the seafront, submerging roads and parking areas. A car was literally swept away by the fury of the water, before the terrified eyes of passers-by. This wave reminded everyone how unpredictable and dangerous the sea can be, even in the absence of a real storm. Dodisi. Volcanic eruption in Diagi Philippines. December 9, 2024. Mount Canlaon, one of the most active volcanoes in the Philippines, erupted on December 9, 2024, spewing a column of ash several kilometers high into the air. The ash, mixed with hot gases, covered the surrounding villages, while small volcanic earthquakes shook the entire region. Authorities initiated mass evacuations, but fear was great. The memory of previous disastrous eruptions still lingered in the minds of those who live at the foot of the volcano. Tredici. Lightning on the Royal Clock Tower in Mesite. During a violent thunderstorm, lightning struck the spire of the Royal Clock Tower in Mecca, one of the tallest and most impressive buildings in the world. The electrical discharge illuminated the entire night skyline, generating a terrifying roar. Fortunately, there was no serious structural damage, but the episode demonstrated once again how deadly and unpredictable lightning can be. Quattordici. Avalanche in the Elbrus region, Marchish 24, 2024. We often think of mountains as symbols of solidity, but snow can become a deadly danger. On March 24, 2024, a large avalanche suddenly broke loose in the Elbrus region, crashing down with a deafening roar. Some people, caught while skiing, ran down the valley to avoid being swept away. Those who managed to escape described the enormous mass of ice and snow as an unstoppable beast, capable of razing everything in its path. Uno Cinque, the Sea of Meudidi in Diaki French Alpes. In some areas of the French Alps, prolonged rains saturated the ground to the point of collapse, causing a massive river of mud and debris. Entire slopes moved in unison, dragging boulders, tree trunks, and pieces of road. The inhabitants of small mountain villages watched helplessly as this phenomenon changed the surrounding landscape forever in a matter of minutes. Protective barriers limited the damage, but the scale of the disaster remains evident even after many months. US. These 15 events remind us that, despite our technological progress and the apparent stability of modern life, we remain at the mercy of the forces of nature. Earthquakes, storms, volcanic eruptions, floods, or avalanches. Earth, water, wind, and fire can overturn our certainties in an instant. What we can do is prepare ourselves, respect the environment, and never underestimate the warning signs. If this video has touched you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you don't and #Trenovid miss future content. See you next time.